start again. It's a redskin.
What's going on, everybody? It's the Bulls Show, aka Aiden, and welcome back to another video. Ladies and gentlemen, today we've got a Chicago Bulls vs Sacramento Kings game reaction in which the Chicago Bulls, very similar to the Golden State Warriors game, was down by a huge deficit by the second quarter, had to fight all the way back in the second half, brought it to within 1 point, and then could not seem to get over the line as the Chicago Bulls yet again lose another game out west, this time obviously against the Sacramento Kings. They're definitely one of those teams that at the end of the day, the Bulls always struggle with. No matter really who's on their roster, we just can't seem to beat the Kings on a consistent basis, which is extremely unfortunate as we do take another loss to our tally, ladies and gentlemen, and a lot more frustration begins to grow. Before we get started, please like and subscribe to the Bulls Show. Turn notifications on and let me know in the comments below your thoughts about the Chicago Bulls, the overall thoughts and opinions on this game, as well as your player of the game and everything of that nature. We lost this game 110 to 101. Again, not a very good game from the Chicago Bulls in its entirety. There were some good moments in the game. Again, a very strong second half, a solid first quarter as well. Really, the only thing that truly let us down today is that second quarter. Now, before I go any further, I will have to say one more thing. Obviously, if you've watched my last couple of videos, if you watched the game reaction against the Golden State Warriors, if you watched my worrying signs video about the Chicago Bulls, you know exactly how I feel about this current team and everything in between, from the front office all the way down to the players. I want to get a message out there that I'm not going to keep on focusing and dwelling on that point, because I think I've made my points very clear. I just want to focus on the game reaction this time out. I want to focus on the game itself. So expect in the future videos of game reactions that I won't necessarily always be talking about trade this guy, trade that guy, make big changes, everything like that. But I do have one more thing to say as well in saying that. Again, maybe a little bit topsy-turvy, whatever. But these game reactions are becoming easily the least favorite videos of mine to make. And again, this is a passion of mine, ladies and gentlemen. It's a hobby as well. I love making YouTube videos and I love the community that I built behind it. But these game reactions, the way that we're losing right now, the form in which we're losing, the teams in which we're losing to sometimes, and the inconsistency in our performances really make this one of the harder videos that I have to make every now and then. And not to mention, this was a lot earlier of a video as well, so I am relatively tired as well. I guess that doesn't help. But yeah, at the end of the day, this is a very, very, very difficult video to make from time to time. I don't like to sit here and talk trash about the Bulls. As much as many people might not believe me and say when I say that, it's one of the worst things in the world to do. I don't like to feel that way. But again, I thought I'd let you guys know that now. This is really is becoming one of the worst parts of this channel, in my opinion, these game reactions. But maybe you guys like it, and if you guys like it, fair enough. But let's talk about the Bulls, ladies and gentlemen. Let's talk about this game. The second quarter, I want to quickly just specify on that because there are a couple of other things I'll get into. But the second quarter really let us down today, ladies and gentlemen. I believe we had 9 turnovers in that quarter, and I think the Kings at that time made more than double the amount of threes than the Chicago Bulls did. And when I look at this game and I look at its entirety, I thought the Bulls played better in probably 2 of the quarter. Of course, the first quarter we were down, but we had a strong first quarter, I would say. The third or fourth quarters, I truly think we played better than the Sacramento Kings. But the second quarter hurt us that badly, ladies and gentlemen. That second quarter is when the Bulls got down to that huge deficit that they're trying to come back from. The comeback Bulls, ladies and gentlemen, was back in full effect today. And we brought it in within 1. But unfortunately, there are a lot of problems that did arise with this team. And I will talk a little bit about them. First and foremost, the big 3 once again did not play well together. Zach LaVine was outstanding today. Easily Zach LaVine's best performance of the entire season, and I loved his performance today. But DeMar DeRozan, very, very poor in the first half, and he picked things up in the second half. But again, this is not the standard DeMar DeRozan performance we've come to expect from him. And if we had any sort of a normal DeMar DeRozan performance, we win this game. It's as simple as that. Vucevic, not great in today's game either. I don't think he was terrible, but I don't think he was solid either. So he's kind of in that mediocre range where I thought he had a mediocre game. And that's our big 3. Those are the guys you expect to really help Zach LaVine and help, I guess, the rest of this team take the load off. And a couple of other guys that did okay. Some guys didn't do very well. But the big 3, the core points of this team, did not play very well together once again. So that is big reason why we've lost. And I really want to say something as well about our starting lineup. I admire the changes that Billy Donovan has made, but I'm going to point out Alex Caruso here, ladies and gentlemen, as well. Alex Caruso is playing for his defense. I completely 100% understand that. He is probably our best defender on the team at the moment. He is very good in terms of the hustle plays. He gets steals. He got 2 steals very quickly in this game as well after his own turnover and stuff like that. He's solid at rebounding. He can play make. He can do good things, ladies and gentlemen. And I fully understand why he's starting. And in fact, I kind of wanted him to start. I'm not going back on my word. I still want to give him time in the starting lineup to see what he can do. But ladies and gentlemen, how many games have we seen 0-point performances from Alex Caruso? I feel like I see it every second game now, ladies and gentlemen. And unfortunately, a starter cannot be scoring 0 points and for us to be okay with it. It's just not acceptable, ladies and gentlemen. Yes, his defense is great. It's immaculate at times, and it's very well needed. And I can understand why he finishes the games for the Bulls. But if he's going to come into this starting lineup and drop 0 points, if he's going to come off the bench and drop 0 points, I think at certain points now he's just starting to hurt us a little bit more. And I love Caruso, and I know it's not a popular thing to disrespect him or to call him out in many ways, but he has to be better than 0 points every second game or every third game. I feel like I'm always seeing games where he either scores 2 points or 0 points this whole season. It's incredibly frustrating. There was a point throughout the season not too long ago where he kind of had around 10 points and stuff like that, shooting well with the ball. But a lot of this season has been 0-point performances from him, and he needs to figure that out, ladies and gentlemen, because in the starting lineup, if I'm criticizing Patrick Williams from time to time for scoring 2 to 4 points, 0 points in a game, then I have every right to criticize Alex Caruso for doing the same. He has to be better, in my opinion. It is really as simple as that. But yeah, really, the only thing I guess the big concern for me was that second quarter and not being able to play 4 quarters of the game. Because if we did, we would have won this game. I thought we were the better team, in all honesty. I know that is really ridiculous to say considering we lost by a fairly big amount. But in saying that, I thought for 3 quarters we did well. It was really just that 1 quarter that hurt us. And that's not an uncommon theme for the Chicago Bulls team either. But that's really all I got to say about the game. I thought the Kings, for a team that's extremely talented offensively, I thought our defense actually suited very well with them. They're a team, I think they're listed as the 2nd best offensive team in the NBA, behind the Boston Celtics, who of course we beat in as well. So we seem to do well against offensive-minded teams. But whatever the case may be, we did well defensively today, I gotta say. It wasn't terrific, but it definitely wasn't bad. I thought we limited them as much as we possibly can, and I think Kings could have done a lot better, in all honesty. But at the end of the day, our defense was solid, and I'll give full credit to the Chicago Bulls for that. It's all about matching the energy in all 4 quarters, ladies and gentlemen. I think Stacey King said it. If you're going to play defense, you've got to play it every single night. I'm going to change that saying. If you want to play defense, if you want to compete in these games, you've got to do it in all 4 quarters. Taking a quarter off really hurts this team, and at the moment, we took a quarter off in the second quarter. We committed so many turnovers, very lackluster play. Again, players not really communicating on the defensive end. A lot of 3-point shots made by the Sacramento Kings, and we're trying to fight back from that. As the comeback Bulls, you can't come back every single game and win. And it's just another lesson that we've had to learn today, and one that we've been talking about for a long, long time now. Before I go into the must improve and stuff of that nature, Zach LaVine had a great game. And there was a situation where at the end of the game, I think he shook nobody's hands. He got very frustrated at the end of the game. I think he got his 40th point, 41 points for Zach LaVine. And he just went straight to the locker room. Didn't shake anybody's hands. Didn't really show any of that sportsmanship. Just left in pure frustration. Now, you might think I'm going to bag Zach LaVine for doing this or say Zach LaVine should not be doing things like this. But to be honest, I think this is the first sign of passion I've seen from this team in a long, long time. Zach LaVine should be angry. He dropped 41 points, and his counterparts in Vooch and DeMar and most of this team did not help him on that scoring side. Our offense was really the big thing that let us down in the second quarter and everywhere else. So yeah, Zach LaVine should feel frustrated. He should feel flustered. He should feel angry. Of course, it's maybe a bit reactionary to I guess, not shake people's hands and show respect to the other team, which I think every team should do. But at the same time, I'm not going to blame Zach LaVine for being angry. In fact, I think there should be more players who should be angry. And we should be expressing our anger on the court. We should be putting teams to the sword earlier. We should be the team that goes out to 20, 30-point leads every now and then. But because we're not angry, because we don't bring energy, because we're not a team that brings that fire, other teams do that to us. I want to see our frustration being, I guess, let out on the court in many ways as well. So Zach LaVine should feel angry. I don't think there's any Bulls player on this team that should not feel angry at this team right now. Because at the end of the day, this West Coast trip has been an absolute disaster. We've won only one game on this West Coast trip. We lost to OKC, a game we should have picked up. We beat the Jazz, very good result. We got destroyed by Phoenix, 51 points, 30 points for DeAndre Ayton, 51 for Devin Booker. Horrific performance. Okay performance against the Golden State Warriors, but another huge deficit we tried to come back from. And pretty much the very same game against the Sacramento Kings, in which we've lost as well. This West Coast trip has been horrible. And unfortunately, I'm not sure how we're going to respond, but we've got to respond, ladies and gentlemen. The must improve for me is going to be DeMar DeRozan once again. I don't necessarily know the exact amount of points that DeMar DeRozan had, but again, I think when I'm talking about inconsistency in all four quarters, DeMar DeRozan is having a very, very, very bad first half and he's trying to pick things up in the second half. I think we need consistency in DeMar DeRozan's game, and I think that reflects on the entire Bulls team, really. How DeMar DeRozan performs is very similar to how this whole Bulls team performs from quarter to quarter, from half to half. So I think I'd pick him. I would pick Alex Caruso, if, in all honesty as well, if I had the choice to pick multiple, because Alex Caruso scoring 0 points in a game where maybe he had more, but I'm fairly positive he had 0 points in a game where we needed a little bit more offense. Not acceptable from Alex Caruso either. Those are the two guys I'd really look at for my must improve. My player of the game will be Zach LaVine. I'm not saying Zach LaVine was perfect today. A little bit of bad shot selection, a couple of turnovers here and there as well. He wasn't perfect, but this was by far the best Zach LaVine performance we have ever seen from the season. And no one really helped him as much as they should have. Other guys should have really stepped up and helped provide more scoring. Because at the end of the day, Zach LaVine didn't play 48 minutes either. There were many, many moments in the game where other guys could have stepped up and helped on the scoring side of things. And no one really helped Zach LaVine that much. And this game should be a frustrating one to lose. Because this game, if we had won it, would have been very positive for the Bulls. Not necessarily game-changing or mind-changing, but it's still a game that could have really helped us. It could have boosted us with a lot of confidence coming back to the United Center. You always want to get that last game on the road. You always want to come back to the United Center feeling confident, feeling ready, having your crowd embrace you once again after a good win against the Kings. But we didn't really get that win, and that is a very frustrating one to let go and slip out of your hands. But the Bulls did it again. Our record is 9-14. We've got to be very careful here, ladies and gentlemen. Again, more losses are piling up onto the table, and realistically, we could very well see this team eventually get to the 10 more losses than wins and stuff like that. We could very well, for example, very soon be 9-19. And then all of a sudden, you're really going crazy, ladies and gentlemen. You're really giving it to this Bulls team, if not many people are doing it right now. So we've got to be very careful. These losses are piling up, and it always starts at the beginning of the year. And there's only so many losses you can take in a row, or so many losses you can pile up, and you have to fight back from, to the point where it becomes you just can't fight back from all of it. For example, I think the Cavs was one of the teams that did this last year. They won so many games, but they lost so many games in a row towards the end, and it really affected their season. The Brooklyn Nets was a team that had to fight back towards the second half of the year after a terrible start to the year. The Lakers, there are so many teams that can do that, and it really hurts them. It puts them in the play-in tournament. It puts them sixth in the Eastern or the Western Conference, or whatever the case may be. And it all starts at the beginning of the year. It all starts in small periods of time that you might not think is a big deal now, but come the end of the season, it will be a huge deal. Anyway, yeah, our Bulls record is 9-14. We've got to start finding wins somewhere, ladies and gentlemen. One win can really change everything for this team, but when is that win going to come? Honestly, I'm losing more faith day by day that we will get a win. I think every game becomes a tough battle for the Bulls. Every game becomes difficult for us. And at the end of the day, it's something that we got to have to deal with. One win is going to have to come eventually, ladies and gentlemen. I miss seeing this Bulls team win, but it is what it is. The next game is against the Washington Wizards. It will be at home, ladies and gentlemen. That Washington Wizards side we've already versed before. Again, DeMar DeRozan final shot that ended up losing that game. The foul call that did not get called. We could have had an extra win under our tally. We could have got to double-digit wins if everything had changed. But you can't change the past. This Washington Wizards team is a team that can bring size, can bring scoring, and is a dangerous team if you don't take them seriously. I also believe they have a positive record right now, same as the Sacramento Kings. So definitely not a game we should be taking lightly, and we'll wait and see what things can happen in the future. We've got a couple of days off, ladies and gentlemen. The Bulls are really frustrating me at the moment, and I'm happy that I'm going to have a couple of days off and not watch a Bulls game, which is absolutely devastating to say. But at the end of the day, I think I need a couple of days off from this team, relax and get my mind focused on other things. And we'll come back to the Bulls when they play against the Wizards. So, thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe if you're new. And I'll see you in the next game reaction. I'll see you in the next Chicago Bulls video. Stay safe, stay healthy, stay tuned for more. Take care and peace.